Interesting discussion because you saw it. We talked about it before. You saw the Alejandro said it. You know, the 2021 European Championship final between England and Italy. You know, we said there. I was at that game, and England was up, and they asked me about the game now, how they should continue. I said they should go for the second goal. England need to score a second goal, otherwise Italy will come back. You know, they're pragmatic, they are more defensive-minded, but they will come back now because they have no other choice. So England decided to basically be more defensive. They pulled back, and what happened? Italy changed their style, became more proactive, which is not really in an Italian culture. But they turned the game around, took it to penalty shootout with a more positive mindset and won it. And this is why, you know, these knockout games, you know, obviously a final is a knockout game. It's a one-off. Like in a World Cup, you have the knockout phase where it's pretty much every game in the knockout phase is a final. I totally believe that you have to be there more proactive, more positive, more attacking-minded, because, I mean, as we often say, you know, defense wins championship over the run of 38 games, like in the Premier League now, like Arsenal did. But one-off games, in my opinion, always decided by teams that are on the more attacking and proactive mind.
There's no right and wrong way to win a game of football. There is just not. We can all have an opinion on how a team should play and what you want to watch. But there's no right and wrong way. There's just winners and there's losers. There's good results and there's bad results. But I'll take a PSG Bayern all day, every day. I get up against this. Now it's delivered success in the Premier League. But the frustration for me watching Arsenal, and I don't care who win this game, to be honest. You know, the best team will win it, and I think the best team did win it. But watching Arsenal, the frustration from a sort of neutral, objective point of view is there's much more in this team. And I don't say that in a sense that, you know, they've won the Premier League, and I'm not taking that away. But in terms of performance, in terms of the competitive edge in this game today and in other games in England that they've got away with, because you're not playing PSG. You're playing Burnley in the second last game. You're playing Crystal Palace. You're playing sides like that. That's okay. It's all very well doing it then. But to try and do it here against this kind of team, I just don't think it's got any longevity. And I look at the players that they have, and I think that there is much more when, as Jurgen said, when they got that goal for a reason, because PSG were fragile. Arsenal could get at them. Arsenal could pressurise them. Arsenal did have some pace to get in behind. William Pacho was looking a bit dodgy whenever that ball went up the middle and Havertz was being physical with him. But yet they just regressed back to their norm of the last 3 or 4 months. And that has to be frustrating if you're sitting and saying, well, why are we not getting Odegaard on the ball? Why are we not getting Eze and Saka and Declan Rice, who's a very good... Why are we not getting these guys on the ball 30, 40 yards further up the field? Rather than winning the ball back or PSG coughing it up in the edge of Arsenal's penalty box, then you've got nowhere to go. You basically got a front man who's come back in to help in Havertz, and you haven't got an out ball. You can't win the ball back in the edge of your box with everybody defending, and if you hit a 30, 40 yard ball, it's coming straight back. So when you're defending as deep as they were with as many as they were, when you win it, there is nowhere to go unless somebody takes it on a 50-yard mazy run, which is very unlikely. It's such a frustrating way to watch Arsenal play, and in today's evidence, it just hasn't been successful.
I don't say this lightly, and I'm not trying to be funny in any way, shape, or form. How is this Arsenal team and Mikel Arteta and his decision-making process any different than Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone? This is the approach, and it's the same. I'll make the same argument and the same issues that I have with Diego Simeone and Atletico Madrid is you're not going to win by being afraid. In order to beat a team like PSG, you got to go get it. You got to go take it away from them. You can't just be afraid. We can call it conservative, but that's being friendly. Once you start backing up, you're no longer being conservative. You're no longer being pragmatic. You're no longer being... in some way defensive-minded. You're afraid. You're afraid to get out. You're afraid to confront further up the field because you're afraid that if you lose the ball in a bad area, your guys, who are essentially some of the best players in your team, are not going to be able to defend in 1v1 situations against some of their attacking players. Again, to beat PSG, the defending champion, with all this talent, you got to go get it. You got to go get it. You can't be back here and then say, we're just going to hope that we can close this out. Hope is not enough.
I feel we're kind of the outliers here in a sense, and I think we're okay with that. And I'm sort of putting everybody in the same pot here. But I think the narrative in the UK, and certainly the narrative here on the host broadcaster, I get a feeling they'll be sitting right at this moment kissing Arsenal's backside. And, you know, great to get to a Champions League. Yeah. And winning the Premier, that's fine. But let's not, if we're doing our job honestly, and I think we are, and I think we're being fair about it, is just try to defend your way there, like Greece in the Euros, who had massive success, but nobody wanted to watch them. They won the damn thing. How they did it was a German coach, actually. But it was the worst thing to watch you've ever seen. Now, that's not Arsenal, and it wasn't that bad. But it's certainly not good. It's certainly not good to watch. And I don't think you should praise somebody for getting to the final and basically parking the bus on the edge of the box and try to defend your way to the victory, or defend your way almost to penalties, which is where it went to in the end, and then go back, as most of them will, and I'll tell you what the narrative will be over the next 48 hours. The referee denied us a penalty. The referee denied us that. The referee denied us this. And it'll be everything else apart from what Arsenal didn't do, which was didn't go and try and grasp this Champions League. They were last in it in, what was it, 2004?
22 years, yeah.
2004. Well, they were very unlucky because Lehmann gets sent off and that game just went away from them. They could do nothing about that. Today they could do something about this game. It was 11v11. PSG were not quite at their best, and they sat back and waited for PSG to hand them this Champions League rather than go out and try and win it.
Jurgen, Luis Enrique's third Champions League title. Let's give him some love.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of love and a lot of credit and a lot of compliments. I mean, he knows what it takes. I mean, he's also able to play a bit of a more pragmatic style if needed. He can also go a little bit more defensive if needed. But I think he is a manager that also loves to attack. He loves to give the freedom to his forward players, attacking-minded players, to go at people, to go one against one, to create stuff. He's able to switch the systems around. He's not always just stuck with one system only. So I think the work he's doing there is unbelievable, is fantastic, and he really, really deserves a lot of credit for this title.
You've got to give a lot of credit in all fairness, to the money people, in a sense, that eventually they've listened. They've been through the circus. Mm-hmm. Like, just get me the best players. Give me, which is what Real Madrid have been trying to do recently. Just get me the best players, we'll make it work. Luis Enrique's gone in there and he's fixed the bayonet and said, listen, no, that's not the way forward for success, longevity. It's getting people, and Ousmane Dembele said it in a recent interview, if you don't run, you're out the side. Yeah. He's won a Ballon d'Or. He's turned his career completely around. Always had talent, never had the consistency. Every player, all these French internationals and other, they run and they graft and then they play. And that's Luis Enrique's gone in and he's gone to them, no, this is not about big stars, this is about the team. And that was his first starting point, and then it was gelling it together, which he's done amazingly well. They're the best, obviously, 2 times in a row, but they're not just in terms of winning the Champions League, but they're the best team in Europe to watch. The slickness in which they play. And we were laughing about it, because when they got corners as well, they're so unlikely to score, because they're not a big physical team. They've got 1 or 2 big physical players, but they're not a big physical side. But they don't need that. Their physicality is their mentality and their ability and the way they move the football around. It's seamless, it's slick, and it's brilliant to watch. Not today so much, but in a general rule of thumb, it is brilliant to watch.
Robbo?
Yeah, I saw Luis Enrique when he was the manager of Roma, and all good managers over a course of time, if they last a long time, they're innovative. They do one style of football, that's the way they want to play, and then after 2 or 3 years, they think they just readjust it and bring something else into the game. I mean, when he was at Rome, we had De Rossi playing as a sweeper, and then he'd go into midfield, and they played... Marquinhos was actually playing for him at that particular time. And he's changed the systems. He's changed the way he wants his philosophy. He was criticised when he was the Spain manager because they passed it too much and didn't have enough penetration. Well, he's changed that, not today, but he's changed that over a course of a time with PSG because they can score goals in many, many different ways. So he's been an outstanding manager for a long time, and he'll look to be inventive again. So that's why he's going to be a manager, a very, very good manager for longer, even longer to come. And that's what Pep Guardiola has done all these years. He's kept on just tinkering with things and changing with things and evolving things year in, year out.
It's interesting, after the Spain debacle, which I think is fair to say, where they lost, obviously, you thought, well, where does he go from here? And as Robbo said, what is so impressive that he has changed, that he's not stubborn, that he has seen the error of his ways.
Yeah, and he's also had tragedy in his personal life. And I think that gives you perspective as well as to what really matters, as to what really is important, and taking advantage of the opportunities that you have in front of you, because time is so precious. And so I do think that that plays a part as well, in that when he makes decisions, he's making decisions from a completely different perspective, and a man who has a completely different appreciation for the opportunities that he has in front of him. So when he's telling Kylian Mbappe that either you defend and you help us out or you're not useful to us, it's because that's the way he truly feels, and he doesn't have to play a political game anymore. So Kylian Mbappe, the best player in the world, allegedly, walks out the door and his team becomes somehow better. Better how much? 2 times better. 2-time Champions League winner, better. That's a credit to Luis Enrique. And we're talking about Luis Enrique in the big picture because today's match wasn't the best display of PSG and Luis Enrique, for that matter. Today was not their best game. In fact, I think of the games in the latter stages of the competition, it's as poorly as they have played. Some of that credit goes to Arsenal, but I think PSG could have done a whole lot better with the pace of the game. But in the big picture, you appreciate the culture and the identity of PSG that was brought forward by Luis Enrique, and that comes with experience. I don't think Mikel Arteta has that same experience, and we saw some of that on display today.
So if we're saying that was one of PSG's poorer displays...
Yes. Yeah, which is completely fair. I think you go back to the Monaco games.
By their standards, which is a very high bar, and yet they were still able, and this is the point of this whole thing when we talk about Arsenal, is that PSG were able to be a little bit of a shadow of what they can be, and yet were still able to put their foot on the ball and dominate it with, certainly possession, with consummate ease. And I think that tells you where we are with how Arsenal approach this game. That they could be off-colour PSG and still have, 19 efforts at goal, still have 70-odd% possession and still lift the Champions League. That's the story in a nutshell.
Just tying up a couple of things. Jurgen, did you think it was a penalty, the Madueke challenge?
No, I don't think so.
No, and Robbo, I don't think you're going to disagree.
Well, what I would say is when I saw it on the telly, before we saw the replays, I thought, it's a penalty here.
Yep.
But then when you saw the replay and the arm was across the defender or the attacker, I thought it was the right decision not to give him the penalty. And credit to the referee. I think he had a very, very good game.
And before the Arsenal fans go crazy on that should have been a penalty, let's not have the conversation about whether Bukayo Saka's handball should have been a penalty in the first half. So
absolutely.
If we want to have that conversation of why, they didn't give us a penalty, well, they didn't give PSG a penalty either.
Vitinha man of the match, do we want to discuss that?
Huh?
Well, he just told me in my ear that it was Arsenal was 2026, 2006 the last Champions League.
Or 2006, I think as most people say it.
2006. But I decided to ignore that as well.
Okay. PSG then champions of the Champions League once again. They're pretty good, aren't they, against English opponents? They've beaten them all.
That's pretty good.